Hello, I am Mr RightNow. On today's episode, we're talking about singleness, relationship-ish, but still singleness. I am joined by my very beautiful friend Eleanor. Let's meet her. Hi, Eleanor. Thanks for coming.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Can you please introduce yourself to our audience and listeners?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Eleanor Akwe. I guess a little bit about me. Born, not really raised, partially raised until the age of 6 in Cameroon, and then my family migrated to the United States. I'm 23 now, so most of my life has been
She's
lived
young, girl.
most of my life has been lived in America, but of course still heavily, influenced by Cameroonian culture, which is something that I feel like always keeps me grounded. What else about me? I graduated from Virginia Tech in 2019 with a degree in political science. Um, Degree in political science and a concentration in national security and foreign affairs. I am in the Army. That's actually how I met Mutan Rayo. We met at training together, and that was a very fun time. Very fun time. I'm honestly, it's crazy because before that I was like all these trainings I'd been going to, I never really met anyone that I really vibe with, and then I remember like just saying this prayer, not even anything serious, like God, please, I just want to meet at least one African girl that I can really, bond with. And then boom, there she was.
A gift, your prize. God's gifts to
And
you.
that was the best 4 months ever, honestly.
We had fun.
We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's basically it. I live in Virginia, but currently in Philly for a little bit doing some work. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. So we're gonna go right into our today's discussion, and y'all, it's about singleness. I think you all know by now. How single are you?
I'm not single. I'm kind of single.
Single and exploring, available, or single and talking?
Single and talking. Single and talking.
I'm single. So y'all, my DM is open. I'm single. Okay, single and talking. Cool.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us about this guy or not?
Yes, of course. So I met him. When did I meet him? I met him like probably late. Okay, so let me give a little bit of background.
Yeah.
So for a while I was very, very single, not single and looking at anything. And then I remember this one day, this was probably like either late November or December of 2020.
Okay.
I felt this feeling. I was like, I think I'm kind of ready to start dating again. And so I have a journal. I was just writing my journal and stuff. And it's so crazy because immediately I felt like I was ready to start dating, started getting people in my DMs. It was almost like a
that is crazy.
I don't even
so
know
crazy.
I don't know how to say it,
so
but
the universe is it connived? Was what I'm looking for with you?
Something like that. Something
okay.
like that. It was crazy. But yeah, so I guess I kind of dated a lot of different people, but none of these people I ever dated were like I just nothing really was clicking. But I was like, okay, I'm not really pressed to be in a relationship anyway. I just know that I'm ready to start dating again. Because if it's one thing about myself, I definitely enjoy myself. I don't feel like I need a man's presence to make me whole. I definitely enjoy myself. So just casually dating, whatever. And then my friends were always like, Eleanor, you should make a Tinder. You should do this. I was like, no. No. They were like, no. They were like, I was like, no, I'm never making a Tinder or any of these dating profiles because I just feel kind of weird about meeting men online. So this one day, I was coming back from the gym and I was like, wow, I think I'm going to make a Tinder just for fun. So I made one. It is what it was. I think I was excited for it for like maybe a day. And then after that, I was like, okay, the excitement has died down.
Yeah.
I think I checked it every once in a while, very rarely. And then this one day randomly I got not on Tinder, on Instagram, someone DM'd me and I was like, who in the world is this? And it was so strange because we had no mutual friends, like nothing.
Really?
Nothing, like literally nothing. And he only had, I think, 3 pictures on his thing. So I was like, is this like one of those like robots? Because
Fish, yeah.
sometimes where people would DM me and I'd be like, okay, this is obviously fake, so I delete it. So that's what I thought about this one. And then not only that, but he had no pictures that were just him. All his pictures were like group photos.
People.
So this is me trying to like scan through which one is he? Which one is he?
Yeah.
And so I remember my best friend was visiting me for like a couple of weeks. So I was looking through his Instagram and we were like kind of messaging back and forth, but I really wasn't even in there. And just the way he also slid in my DMs, he was asking for my what was it? My the secret to my hamstrings, what the formula was.
You do have good hamstrings, so they're popping, but yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. So I was like, okay, let me just go along with it anyway, because one thing I had pledged to myself was like, okay, I need to be more open because you know, sometimes you never know. So we got to talking and he was like, are you available? I was like, sure, why not? And so I was talking to my best friend. I was like, what do you think? And she was like, I mean, if you want to do it, you should. So I was like, okay. I mean, what do I have to lose, right?
To lose, yeah.
So then he was like, okay, planned out our whole first date. We went to this, what was it? It was a cross between an art and a technology museum in DC called Art Tech House. Planned out the whole first date, that plus dinner after. All I had to do was show up. So I was like, wow, a planning man. Okay. So then we met up. That was like early May. We met up early May. And yeah, it's honestly been great ever since.
So it's actually very crazy how you were ready and then the universe was like, girl, I got you here. These are men. And some of us have been single for like forever. And we've been telling the universe and God, do something. Right. Like nothing. But that's okay. I'm happy for you. Let's go with it. So you're single and talking. Let's take it a little bit more into, was there a reason why you were single for like the longest time? I literally don't have a reason. I was just enjoying myself and enjoying being an adult. And 30 something years later, here we are.
I honestly haven't really even dated a lot of people in my life. I've dated one person, and I wouldn't even say it was serious because it was in college and it lasted for all of like 2 months because it just wasn't going the way I could have. It wasn't going.
It wasn't going anywhere. Said it wasn't going anywhere.
It wasn't going anywhere. And then I had a little fling when we were at Bolick, and that I wouldn't say it was a waste of time because I definitely also had a part to play in it with letting it go as long as it did. But after that, I was like, okay, because I think that for a while really messed me up because I was like, wow, I actually really like this boy and stuff like that. So I just took time for myself.
I'm sorry. I think this is where I get to say I'm sorry because I know I also like took Pat. I had a little bit of role to play in that. So if it hurt, I'm really sorry.
No, honestly, I it's crazy, but I think it had to happen because it gave me a lot. It allowed me to gain a lot of clarity on how relationships should go, what you should and shouldn't allow, and just a whole bunch of other things. And I think that during that time, I guess after actually that time, it helped me to learn a lot about myself, learn a lot about, what I want in life. That was also during that time, I actually got a therapist, and that was a huge eye opener as well. And so, yeah, I guess, I don't know if I can really like talk to before that, but I feel like after that, the reason I was single was just because I was taking time to work on myself. And I feel like sometimes when people are in a state of singleness or like maybe like after a breakup type thing, they always want to find someone to fill that void
immediately. Yeah.
But I'm someone who I take relationships kind of serious because you start to get, that's something that involves your emotions and sharing parts of yourself. And I don't really like sharing parts of myself with people who aren't going you know, or just sharing parts of myself because it's like, oh, I want to fill this void. I'd rather get through something by myself, you know, create happiness for myself so that if someone does come along, you're not trying to fill a void with this person, you know, you're already yourself. So I feel like maybe that's why I guess after that I was kind of single for a while, just finding myself and getting to a place again where I feel like, okay, I'm ready to enter the dating world again. But honestly, that was the best time of my life. And one thing that it also taught me was that, you know, I'd rather be single than to be in any kind of like, you know, funky relationship.
Situationships, yeah.
Yeah, or situationships, anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, I guess
So
that's
would
kind
you
of
say the fling then was Mr. Right Now, not necessarily Mr. Right?
the fling.
The fling, yeah. That was like your Mr. Right Now, not necessarily your
Yes,
Mr. Right. Okay.
that was definitely my Mr. Right Now. I don't think, looking back at it now, I really don't think that would have gotten far anyway, because
Right.
even though in my head I was trying to justify why he was the right person, I think it was just the right now. I think it was definitely, it was more so, sometimes people like to look at stuff like that as time wasted, and that's how I kind of saw it after the fact. But then I had a change of heart. I was like, this wasn't time wasted. This was, you know, actually a lesson to be learned.
Yeah.
But it was definitely Mr. Right Now.
I like it.
Definitely
I
Mr.
like it.
Right
Hi, Mr. Right Now. Yeah. So something for me is like, as even though I'm older, right? People say, "Oh, why are you still single?" Or I actually enjoy myself. And I think you mentioned it's like I enjoy my own singleness. I enjoy being my own person. And some things I've enjoyed by myself, like traveling. I've enjoyed traveling, but I've never actually traveled with people. Fact,
Yeah.
I've never traveled with people. I enjoy traveling. I enjoy exploring places. What are some things you enjoy just being single?
Honestly, it's not having all the time to yourself. You know, not having to worry about and not in a selfish way, but not having to worry about what someone else is doing, how someone else is, you know, coming home from work after a long day and it's just you, not having to call someone, oh, how are you, or, you know, divide your time. Just being by yourself, you know, not having the headache of, sometimes you see all these relationships, you know, it's very toxic. People are in toxic relationships, but they just want to keep going and not even having like the slightest, you know, like inclination of, oh, okay, where is this relationship going to go to? Is it become toxic? But I think the biggest thing, just because I value my time, is having 100% of my time to myself.
Yeah.
I think would be my biggest thing. Like I said, I enjoy myself already, so I never feel the need to, you know, have another person feel because I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I feel like where I am now, I'm pretty whole within myself, so I don't feel like I need someone to fill space for me. But I think the biggest thing would be time, just having 100% of my time.
Yeah. I think for me, it's gonna be freedom as well, like the freedom to make your own decisions, the freedom to do whatever you want. Girl, I love it. Like just that freedom for sure. That's something I really, really enjoy. But of course, with everything that comes with freedom, there's always assumptions or like myth about it, right? And one thing that I have an issue with is people always assuming that everybody single is sad. Or you're sad because you're single because you cannot keep a man, or you're single because you can't keep like a partner. Like, it's tiring, it's exhausting. What has your experience been with that?
I would definitely agree. I remember this guy that I met once. He was like, "Oh, you're so beautiful. You're so this. You're so this. How come you're single?" And it's like I didn't think, you know. Is there a correlation between being beautiful and not being single, you know?
Or being hardworking and a working class lady or man. And it's like you're tall, or you're a good person, you have a job, a good paying job, you have a beautiful career that you love. Why are you single? I'm just like
single. Yeah. And I don't know. I think that society has made it such that if you fall under a certain like category, or your character has a certain way, you have to be in a relationship. but it's not the case, I think that also because society has made it such that you're more validated if you're in a relationship, in certain areas, and it's like it doesn't have to be that way. I can be 100% validated if I'm single, and I don't have to be in a relationship, for you to see me in a different light.
Yeah, validated and respected, especially when you're married. It's just like Mr., Mrs., like especially with African community. You have arrived, like everybody gets it. You're no longer just Eleanor. Now you're Mrs. something. What? Yes. So hello, ma. Good afternoon, ma. But the fact that you were an officer in the United States Army, like that's something, but it's not really something. And that just
it's not. And it's crazy you mentioned that, actually, because after my twin sister got engaged, everyone was like, oh, you're next, you're next, you're next. And it was like, okay, thank you.
The pressure is on.
Right. And not only that, but after I graduated in 2019, that was everything. Okay, now that you graduated, the next thing we're coming to is your wedding. And it's like it is a lot of pressure. It is definitely a lot of pressure, but I feel like everything should be at your own time. You should never do anything, at another person's time.
That's actually very interesting, right? Because you go to college and it's like, don't follow boys, don't look at boys. And then you graduate, and somehow,
all of a sudden
you're supposed to miraculously have a whole husband waiting after you walk down the aisle, and it's just like, bro, which one is it, right? And it's actually interesting as well, like how much we attach to marriage and just having that partnership. It's interesting as a culture, and as just like as humans, I guess I like to just bring that together. There is more to life than partnership. There is more to life than marriage, and sometimes other people don't even want it. They just want to be alone and make an impact. And I had an episode. If you guys haven't seen it, you guys should go watch it. The episode with one of my friends, Moji. She doesn't want kids. She doesn't want marriage, and she's trying to redefine. She's trying to define what a legacy is going to be for her. And it pushes you to leave a legacy that is outside of marriage, outside of children. Now it's just you as an individual. And I found out really, like, I know I for sure want to leave legacy, but my subconscious African self, I always also linked it to kids and me passing it on to them. But now it's just, okay, I want to pass it. I want to give it to the world, not just an individual. And that's interesting. So you are single and talking. What are you most looking forward to in a relationship?
I think the number one thing would be someone that respects me. I feel like a lot of times here you see a lot of relationships where women are just there to be there because it's like, okay, back to that whole validation thing. Someone that respects me, because if someone doesn't respect you, I feel like there's nothing else to talk about, and the other thing too would be when you're in a relationship, your life should get better, right? I think that's another thing that people in a way people miss out on. It's like, okay, they're just in this relationship because maybe they've been in it for so long, or whatever reasons that people have. But I feel like your life should get better in certain ways, or even easier, I would say, in certain ways. That person should help you out in certain areas that you may not, or certain things that you maybe not necessarily might find more difficult to do. But I maybe back to like some of the gender roles, certain things that women are supposed to do versus men, and not that they have to be so strict, but certain things a woman just naturally can't do, not because she's not capable of, but her capabilities are so limited. So I feel like number one, definitely the respect aspect, and then just your life getting easier in certain ways. That's one thing that I've recently been like, okay, if I'm going to be in a relationship with someone, this person in certain areas should make my life easier. If not, then there's no need for me to be in that relationship, because if my life only gets harder with you, I'd rather my life be easy,
I think
with just
let's
me.
clarify easier, right? So we're
Yeah.
not in that gender role thing. So when you talk about easier, are you saying the man should be like the provider and the lady should be on the receiving end, or are you talking about a mutual, mutual relationship where everybody brings something to the table? And
Yeah,
when you're talking
mutual.
about gender roles, are you saying a woman cannot mow the lawn because she's a woman? Just help me clarify that a little bit, so I'm not making assumptions.
Yeah, no, definitely a mutual thing.
Okay.
I think that's important, because once it starts getting one-sided, then, maybe people start resenting each other. But when it comes to like gender roles, not even necessarily that, women can't mow the lawn in certain things, but I would definitely say in the providing aspect. I feel like for me at least, I that's something that I do look for in a man. Just, and I think part of it is just because of the relationships that I've seen growing up and around me, where the woman is pretty much a workaholic because she's doing everything, and then the man is doing next to nothing. And then just seeing how the woman is always frustrated and stuff, I that's not something that I personally want for myself. So what I guess when I'm speaking more so gender roles, and I guess it's kind of because society has made the gender roles so stringent, but it's not that women can't do certain things on their own. That's not more so what I'm saying, but I do think that there are certain ways that, being with someone, your life can get easier. And that's obviously also going to be relationship dependent, right? Whatever ways that, you help them out versus them helping you out. It's not going to look the same in any relationship. It's going to be different. But I guess that's more so what I'm speaking towards. Just you both helping each other out in whatever areas it is that, applies to the context of your relationship.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't like assuming any
Yeah.
funny whatever. Okay. Because I have feminists on this team, and we don't want to offend anybody, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about you mentioned something that was very interesting. I think I'm forgetting now. I had it, but I can't remember. So I'll just move on to our next point, which is how do you think single people can best like enjoy their singleness, or like just be better prepared to be in a relationship? For me, I find that knowing myself completely, like completely knowing myself, knowing that I am enough, like this dark chocolate lady girl, you're gonna get it. I'm enough.
Yes.
My dreams are valid regardless of what this other person is bringing. I can do my own dreams. I have my own passion. You can have your own, and then we can work together as a couple. Those are my top. But yeah, what are yours?
Um, Definitely knowing yourself
Mhm.
would absolutely be my number one. If you don't know yourself, you're not gonna know what you can tolerate and what you can't.
Mhm.
If you don't know yourself, you're not gonna know what boundaries to be able to put into place.
Mhm.
In order to allow not only yourself, in certain ways from getting hurt, but allowing others not to cross that boundary.
Mhm.
I think in your season of singleness, you should really seek to do the things that, and this is more so if you desire a relationship down the line, but seek the things to do that, only involve you,
You.
things that are going to better yourself.
Yeah.
Things that, if you were to get into a relationship down the road, you may not necessarily have time for those things, because I think the worst thing for anyone to have is to regret, oh, I wish I had done this, in this time, I wish I had, but unfortunately that time will be
Time's
gone.
gone. Yeah.
So just doing the things that you want to do, no matter how crazy it might be, whatever it is that you want to do, the things that, maybe you've been skeptical in the past about doing, like, I wonder if I can do this, just do it, because at the end of the day, that's your time, you're not sharing that with anyone else. And just overall bettering yourself. I'm a huge believer that growth is, you don't come to a certain point and you're like, okay, I'm done growing. Growth is continuous, and we grow little by little every day. But I think that a lot of people sometimes are so stuck in this mindset where it's like, okay, like I feel like I'm perfect, so I don't need to grow anymore. But just growth, self growth, personal growth, and in any areas, career wise, whatever it might be. I feel like when you're single, that's really the time to do that, because the product of it is obviously, you know, for that time, the best version of yourself. However that looks like to you. So just growth. And again, it looks different for everyone, right? Maybe someone's growth could be like, okay, finally getting a therapist and, you know, figuring things out that way. Someone else's growth could be, I don't know, buying a house, you know, by themselves. That's growth too. Someone's growth could be a career change, taking time, you know, putting it into that.
Another person's growth might be letting things go, like that career they've worked for, you know, it's different now and you just want something that completely different.
Yeah. But yeah, just overall growth, figuring out the things that, you know, you have to let go in order to be able to invite new things into your life.
I like it. So I remember what I was trying to say, and I literally jotted them down as they came to my mind, right? It was love and respect. So you said, you know, your own person has to respect you. I read a book a while ago titled Love and Respect, and the man was pretty much saying a woman has to be loved, a man has to be respected. And I find that interesting because to you, respect was your top choice. I mean, love for sure, but respect more. And to him, it was just like, a woman should be loved, a man should be respected, and I find that interesting. If you guys ever get a chance to read the book, is actually quite interesting. And when you were talking about people's growth and things like that, compromises, you know, in all of this, how do you said you're familiar with like women working and the men just doing whatever it is, chilling and hanging, right? What role does compromise, or what does compromise look like in that for you?
Ooh, that's a great question. What does compromise look like in that dynamic for me? Is this if I were to be the one in the shoes of the woman that's always working? Ooh, that's honestly a hard one because I've never thought of it. What does compromise look like? What does compromise look like? I would say that
I'm asking myself now, and I'm like just running it by different people, see what that's like. I don't necessarily. Maybe you don't have an answer right now, and that's okay. I don't as well, which is why I'm like measuring and seeing. I know one thing for sure: it's going to be I'm never going to give up my career. Like it's not even in a question for compromise. I don't know about kids or, you know, whatever, but my career, it's a no. It's a no-go compromise I'm never going to reach or talk about. But I'm interested in what yours says.
I honestly don't have an answer about what compromise would look like if it's a relationship dynamic, whereas the woman is the one that's I would say the provider and the man isn't. I guess you would have to be in one of those to really figure out what compromise is. I guess on the flip side, in a relationship dynamic, whereas the man is the provider and the woman, you know, is not. I would honestly, for some people, compromise might be the woman not working and being fully at home, but I don't see that for myself. Maybe if like, you know, I stayed at home for a period of time to take care of kids, but for my whole life, no, because I still believe that sure, he can be the provider, but you still need to have your own going on, you know, don't just be like, okay, my husband got us or whatever, and then not do anything. I feel like
or your wife or your spouse
or your spouse, right? I feel like if you're able to work, you should, you know, especially if it can only add to that household. I feel like you should. Now, maybe trying to put myself in the shoes of the provider. What would compromise look? Maybe this is an answer. Maybe trying to put myself in the shoes of the provider. What would compromise look like? The person that's not providing, possibly should be the one that is maybe in charge of most of the duties at home. You know, the cleaning, the cooking.
Girl, everybody's trying to clean these days.
No, trust me.
Well, guys, let us know in the comment section what your compromise will look like or what that's gonna be. And you talked about.
I'm honestly just throwing out ideas because I honestly don't know what that could look like. Honestly.
Yeah. You talked about growth. Something that I'm finding really interesting is the fact that people say, "Oh, you change, right?" Or my
Mm-hmm.
partner changed, or
Mm-hmm.
we grew apart, right?
Yeah.
That's the sometimes it's that growth of, oh, now I was this person when we met. I was
Mm-hmm.
this person when we got married or agreed to go into a partnership, and then a year, 6 months, a year, 5, 10 years down the line, you guys have grown.
Yeah.
Some people have problems or issues arise as a result of of that growth that an individual or they've undergone individually but not together.
Mm-hmm.
What's a growth that you let me see how I'm gonna phrase this. What does growth look like to you as a couple in order not to grow apart?
Um, I think first answer that comes to my head, I think it would involve constant communication.
Communication, yeah.
Um, I think that sometimes couples that maybe find it hard to communicate with each other, that maybe that's how they could grow apart. This is just an idea. Obviously, I don't know if it actually is how it happens, but I think constant communication, just communicating with your partner, okay, here's where I'm at, maybe here's where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? Kind of coming together and
Goal
talking about
sharing.
your goals. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Frequently talking about your goals, because those could change.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the goals you had 6 months ago, you know, maybe if you've met those goals, obviously you're going to make new goals, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe you'll have to reassess those goals. Okay, maybe this is not feasible in this timeline. Maybe I can, move it out to this timeline. But I think just constant communication, goal sharing, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
um, and just being open with each other,
Yeah.
honestly, being open with each other. I feel like if you're going to be in a relationship, this is probably the person that you're spending the most time with, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And if you can't be open with them, who else are you going to be open with?
Yeah.
Especially if you guys are looking to build something together. I definitely think that communication is 100% an important aspect of it.
Yeah. That's actually interesting. So I have a friend who herself and her spouse like come together every month to
Mm-hmm.
check their individual goals and then their couple goals as a
Okay.
family. I find that
Mm-hmm.
very, very interesting. Like it's something I feel like I will adopt when I'm ready to do this relationship thing, right?
Yeah.
Something else I saw on Twitter a while ago. So this guy said he married or he dated a runner, got married to a mountain climber, um, had kids with someone who loves to sleep, and now she's back in her career. So like every step, be open to whoever you are getting and
Mm-hmm.
find out how to best support
Yeah.
them in
Mm-hmm.
that growth, area of their lives, and just enjoy your journey, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
See me giving couple advice. Yeah. But other than that, what are your final thoughts? Any wrapping points for audience listeners as we round up this episode?
Um, Honestly, just enjoy your single season. Enjoy it, man. I Like I said, I feel like now that I'm kind of like ready to be in a relationship, and maybe when it's like is imminent, I definitely feel like I got what I needed to get out of my season of singleness. And if anything in the future didn't work out, I don't feel like I would be so stuck in I need to be in a relationship where
Mhm.
I couldn't be by myself again. But just enjoying your season of singleness, growing the best that you can. I really do believe that, the you today should always be better than the you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Always forward progress
No,
and
no,
never
the you
backward progress.
tomorrow should be better than the you today.
Sorry,
Right.
yes, I
Yeah.
meant
Okay.
yesterday. The you yesterday. The you today should be better than the you yesterday.
Yesterday. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, just constantly seeking to grow, man. Like, I don't know. I just feel like working on yourself. There's no better feeling than working on yourself, you know, and finally getting to a point where you feel like you again.
Yeah.
There's no better feeling than that. You know, for some people it takes longer than others, but we're not all on the same journey in life, I think, is what people need to remember. I think that social media a lot of the times, like especially if you get sucked into it, can make you forget that you're not like these people you see on social media.
Yeah.
And you know, everything that happens, a lot of things that happen on social media is for clout. So don't ever look at it and you're like, oh, you know, I want that. No, it
To
has to be
celebrate the finished work, not the in progress work.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be on your own time. And I feel like a lot of the things when you take time for yourself, when you take time for your own growth, I feel like that the reward and just that feeling is bigger than anything. So just enjoying your season of singleness, man. I don't know. I've honestly the last since my whole season of singleness for maybe the past like year and a half now has honestly been a great time.
Nice.
Has been a great time, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else. I really wouldn't.
That's nice.
I like I said, I really enjoy my own company, and I feel like once you get to that point, you can't be phased by anything. You know, something doesn't work out, okay, bye.
Well, let me say something to you actually enjoying your own company too much, right? Because when you're younger, you can enjoy yourself and just like be single and single by yourself, right?
Yeah.
But I would say if you're older, be open to people, be open to opportunities, and be open to being introduced or getting introduced, however way that works, right?
Yeah.
When you get really older, well, I'm not really older, but like when you get to like your 30s, your late 20s, 30s,
Yeah.
you get comfortable in your own space and like the way you do things, you're so set in your ways. Sometimes it's harder to bring people on your journey. And I've talked to like 40 over 40-year-old single ladies who are like, I don't know, you know, like they wanted it at some point, but they got, you know, they were busy doing other things like, you know, career or, and then menopause is hanging around in their 47s, 48. And it's like, they want the family, but they also have built themselves to be their own people. Like one lady said, if I put my spoon here, I expect to meet it here when I get back. But with a spouse and possible children, that's gonna change.
Different.
So if you're older, for sure, enjoy your singleness, be open, but be open along the way to, you know, changes in people and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been fun.
Yep.
Thank you for coming. Thank you so much for coming, Eleanor. I really appreciate it. I hope you come back again on a different
Of
episode.
course.
Yeah.
Of course. I would love to. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming.
And this concludes this episode on relationship. Let me know in the comment section below what compromise you're willing to give or take when it comes to relationship or marriage, or you know, whatever compromise you're willing to take or give. Let me know. If you've not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe, and please share with friends and family. Let them join this growing community. And do not forget to follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Sense&Rants. Until next time, whatever it is you want to do, if that's been in a relationship or not, whoever it is you want to become, all you have to do is start. Even if you have to create a Tinder profile, go ahead and start. Enjoy the rest of your day, y'all. Bye.